Okay, well, welcome to Linux Music One. This week we're going to look at a public service announcement, rsync. You know as well as I know that you should be backing your stuff up. And I get it. It's confusing, inconvenient, time-consuming when you really just want to make music. But you know you ought to be doing it, and you know you're going to lose something. It's not if, it's when. rsync is a great tool for that, and I get that it's complicated. I get that too. You look at those options, there's a million options and combinations, and it's intimidating. And I was intimidated. I didn't use it for a couple years, and I sat down one day and said, well, I'm going to try it. And sure enough, it really is simple. And so what I hope to show you this week is just that it really is simple. I mean, sure, there's a million options and a million variations, but to successfully use rsync to back up your stuff with a press of a button, man, it's a lot simpler than it seems. So let's do that. Okay, well, let's get started. This week we're going to look at rsync. This is a public service announcement because if you, like I was, I'd type in man rsync, and because I'd heard that it could be good for backing up and things like that. And I just started looking at all these options in this. I mean, there must be 40 pages of documentation here, and I just intimidated myself. So I didn't do this for a couple of years, and then once I really buckled down, thought I'd take a look at it, I was shocked at how simple and easy it was. So this time we're going to go through rsync. It's amazingly simple, and it'll do a great job for you. So first, let's just look at how does this work. rsync, and then here you're going to put in some options, whatever they are, and the from place, and then the to place. And what this is going to do is it's going to copy, copy on steroids everything from the from place to place. Usually I use A, B, P, Z, H, and as my options. And let me just kind of go through those. A means archive, and that means everything that's copied over is going to keep its permissions, its links, its owners, and all that stuff, which is good. That's what you want. V is going to do it verbose, so it tells me what's going on because I like to know what's going on. P is going to copy over partial files. If we lose sync, then it'll still, the thing is, why not? Z is gonna compare. This is particularly important if you're going computer to computer, files from one computer to another, because what Z does is it decides if it's good to compress that file, then send the smaller number of bytes over, then decompress it on the other end, so you can get some speed up by using Z. And H means when you're busy in V telling me everything, tell it to me like a human. Now, for these examples we're going to do, well, there's no point in compressing it because we're right here. We're going to do these examples on this computer, so we'll leave out the compression. We'll just put in AVH, and then we'll do, the from place to place, and run a couple experiments here. So let's try that. First, let's make a directory. And we'll make this TBS for to be saved. And we'll make another directory, SVD, for this is where I want the saved stuff to go. I don't know if you know the touch file, but the touch file in Linux means create a blank file out there. So TBS, make me a.text, and touch, put in to be saved b.text. And now let's go rsync these to our saved directory. So I'll rsync -archive verbose, give it to me like a human. I always like to put in full paths. It's If you've done much Linux, there's shortcuts for this, but I'm just more comfortable doing full paths, LM1 to be saved, and send it all over to home, LM1, SVD, the saved place. Let's hit it. You'll notice what it does is it sends an incremental file list, which really means I'm checking TBS against SVD, and anything that's not over there isn't fresh or the same timestamp, I'm going to send it. So it's sent A, B, and D. We'll confirm that for ourselves by checking home, LM1, SVD, what's over there. A and B made it over. Let's run that rsync command again. Notice it sends the file list, but it doesn't send anything over. Everything that's over there is current and fresh. Let's come here and we'll touch c.text. Okay, so now if we look at, we've got A, B, and C here on the to be saved folder, and if I run rsync, it checks both sides. It only sends C text. Let's verify. And yes, A, B, and C are over there. So let's try something else. Let's nano B. This would be TBS B.text, and we'll come in here and we'll put in hello. Put in anything at all. Keep the same file name. X. Now B has changed, so when we run rsync from home to be saved, and try to put it in home to saved. If we're right, the only thing that we'll go over is B, because B was changed. B has been changed. It's more, the copy in TBS is more current than the copy in SVD, so it's going to send it over. And you'll notice that it did. And truly, that's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, one thing it's probably obvious that, playing this game on, in my home folders and on my same computer and on my same hard drive is not all that useful. If I blow the hard drive, it's going to blow the save stuff as well as the TBS. I mean, it's marginally useful if you're in making changes and all that stuff. But I mean, the real power of this thing comes out when you can use something like this, put it over to another computer, another hard drive, something like that. So while I don't want to get in, I'm going to show you at the end where you can get a kind of a cheat sheet for this. But while I don't want to get into that, and try to explain it verbally, because you'll need to see it written, let's do this. rsync AVH. I'm going to give it the -E parameter, and we'll talk about that more in the write-up. But E says use secure shell to transfer, and let's send home LM1 TBS, and we'll send it to music at 192.168.5.5 share. And what this is doing is it's going to open up a secure connection right here to the TBS that we've been using to another computer within my home network and send everything to the share folder. And so let's watch that happen. I have to give it the password, and it sends it over. So, oops, notice that so I could have put a slash here and avoided that. But you see what the thing is. That's where the real power of this thing comes in. It's that easy. You can put this in a shell script. You can run it on cron, so you don't even have to mess with it. And to that end, let me encourage you to go to Stop. There we go. www.Linux Music. No. Linux Music 1. My real name. And right here. And if you click here, is a little 2-page write-up that shows you easily how to set up a log file for this. Shows you how to put it in a shell script so that you can just run it with by typing backup.sh. How you could hook it to cron so you can have it happen unattended. So anyway, go to linuxmusic1.lewwilkinson.us, or if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, if I come here, you'll notice that right here, a little click for Linux Music 1 Extras will bring you right back. Well, it should have brought you. Yeah, it brought you right back to this. So there you go. That's it. rsync. You ought to be using it. You ought to be backing up. We're doing far too much work with creating music, making amazing things to not have a good, secure backup. And by the way, it does work, because I needed to back up last week. And yes, I had one, and it worked perfectly. So there you go. That's it for this week. Public service announcement. Next week, we're on back to using a DAW. Okay, so you see that wasn't all that complicated. That was actually pretty simple. I hope it's useful to you. Lord knows it just saved my butt last week. I had lost some stuff and completely screwed something up, and was able to get it back with no pain and suffering. So that being said, next week we're going to go on to our tracks and all that other stuff. But in the meantime, hey, give this a try. I'll see you next week.